Hey, I felt inspired to make a responding video to this girl I just watched recently. I really hope that she finds this and watches my opinion, because I would like her to hear my thoughts and not just over email or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. I want her to hear them from me. This is her YouTube channel is called Chrissys Corner. Before I get into that, before I start, I want to say I am a born and raised member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's a form of Christianity. And I wanted to respond to one of her videos of her journey to leaving the church. And I haven't seen all of it yet. I saw part 1. It went from when she was little up to when she was in Youngmans, and how they did their teachings and how people were treating her in certain ways, and certain things that were sold or treated. I'm actually kind of speechless, because it must have been either that area she was in or that ward, or I don't know what was going on, because the way she was describing the decisions that people made didn't sound like LDS, or the way that I personally was taught to treat people. I'm gonna go along certain points, like bullet points, and pick on certain subjects that she was talking about that just disgusted me. Honestly, people can throw as much hate as they want for my opinions, but this is how I feel about what she was saying. First of all, when she was in primary, the way that they taught kids how to say prayers, I think they're missing what prayers are. Prayers aren't a means of sending a letter to the Queen. It's not a sense of formality. It's a conversation with God. It's a personal conversation with God. How we pray to Him is our business. It's between us and Him. So there's no right or wrong way to pray to Him. And it even states in the scriptures that we need to be like as of a child. So children pray and speak to God as they would their mortal parents on earth. And we should take heed of that. But we got so much criticism and logic in our brains as an adult, we forget that part of ourselves. So there's nothing wrong with the way kids pray. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In fact, when I was in nursery just for a little while, about 6 months to a year. Well, not nursery. I was a primary teacher. And every class, I would always ask for someone to volunteer to pray. And one of them was always eager. One particular, this girl, Willow. And they can pray for whatever they want. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no disrespecting God if you don't say it a certain way. And my specific ways to pray, me personally, is when I'm alone, I like to pray out loud, because it's more heartfelt for me, that's more personal, and I feel like I'm reaching out to Him at a more spiritual level. And I feel this spirit more too. I get emotional. But yeah, that disappointed me that they were that's how she was taught to say her prayers. Chrissy, I'm saying this directly to you. The way I was raised in primary, I had the kindest leaders. I did do a lot of work. I moved a lot as a kid, but here in Australia, where I grew up, prayer was a very personal thing. even for a kid. We weren't taught respectful ways to pray. We were more taught it's okay to pray whenever you want and whenever you feel like it. Okay, it's a choice. But moving on. The next thing that appalled me was skipping forward to yeoman's and the horseback riding. I loved horses as a kid. For the first half of my life, I was obsessed with horses, so I can understand the excitement of going together as a group in youth. But Bishop, his reasons for not letting you go, let me tell you now, if that was our bishop, the one we have now, he would have kindly let you go. Every bishop's different. I want to share with you an experience I had with a bishop. It's not quite as sexist as what you went through, but it did show me that I can trust the bishop I have now with conflicting matters of my life. But I won't go into it too deep, but I did have a personal matter that was pretty bad, and I was pretty distraught, and I grieve, or I deal with my emotions when they go south in certain ways, and sometimes I don't feel up to going to church because I socially clam up and don't feel like going anywhere. So my solution to the problem was to shut myself away because of how down I was feeling. And I explained the situation to Bishop over the phone. I told my phone because I wasn't turning up. And I tried to tell him of the pain and what was happening. And all he did was compare my pain to other person's pain. He said, you know what? They're going through this. They're still going to church. That's what you should be doing. And I was angry at him for the longest time because I opened up to him about a bad thing I was going through. And because of that, for years up since then, I've been hesitant to confide in my bishop, any bishop, about anything. But then just a few months ago, I went through another hard moment in my life, and it was thanks to my husband. That he encouraged me to go speak to Bishop, and I'm glad that he did that, because this bishop now is one of the kindest men that I know, and I reckon if he was that bishop at the time for you, he would have let you go horseback riding, because there was absolutely nothing wrong with that. You guys were prepared. Your leader had her own horses. I was just disgusted with, and even worse, that he stole the idea and let the young men go. And I said to Ethan, my husband, I said to him, this isn't the 1800s where the men all go around riding horses and the women stay home and, hang out the laundry. We're not, this is a whole new century. You gotta stop treating girls this way. We're much more independent now. So yeah, that was another part I was appalled at. The other one, honestly, what chapel were you going to? What people were you raised with? Because I've never heard of any LDS church that I've ever been to with these kind of members ever. The situation with the black family, with the racism, when that kid picked the fight at the picnic or barbecue or whatever was going on, and the plank of wood, and he was starting to hit him with it, and then I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and then Bishop called the cops on the black family. And I had to tell him I can't watch part 2 yet because I wasn't feeling very Christ-like towards these people. And I said, I want you to listen to me, Chrissy. Yes, I am a full-on 24/7 member of the church. I've been born and raised. I have no intentions of leaving. I have full faith in Christ and God and the Book of Mormon. I believe in all that. But after watching or listening to what you went through, I do not in any way blame you at all for wanting to leave, because that is not how we treat each other in the church. It really isn't. And I'm just really sad that you had to grow up with it in that way. I wish that you could have grown up with it the way I did. I was surrounded by family and friends that supported me. I had the kindest people in my wards, and nothing was ever forced upon me in that way. My faith did dwindle a little after the incident with the bishop, but what helped me was, because I was living away from my parents at the time, so I went to their ward for a while, until I had the strength to start going back to mine, because I couldn't face my bishop after what had happened, or after what he said to me. But I refused to go completely inactive. I have my own personal reasons for not leaving. I have like a contract with God, if you will. I inflicted the contract on myself. Okay, I made a certain decision and struck a deal with him because of a sacrifice I made. I'll tell you what. I'm going to give the example to you. I'm going to talk about it. I'll keep it as brief as I can, because this sacrifice, it still gave me the blessings that I needed in my life. When I was, ever since I was about 7 or 8 years old, I have been passionate, on and off, with basketball. Reasonably good at it. I play with a team up north, a couple of teams actually. But when I was 15 years old, I was offered to go into development, which would eventually lead me, I assume, to the WNBA. But I knew the program, I know the pressure of this, and I knew that entering into that kind of development would clash with my belief in the church. So I put God first, and I said no. And a little part of me would kind of, wonders what would have happened if I said yeah, and I went into the program and developed my skills in that way. But my blessing for doing that was to I may not be going professional, may not be as good as I could be, but it's still something I love doing. And he gave me that opportunity to keep doing this passion that I have, to keep playing. So my deal with him was, or is, still to this day, play as much as I want during the week. I go to this team every Saturday, and I'll keep given the opportunity to play as long as I keep going to church every Sunday. I mean, sometimes I don't go every week. Sometimes I get sick, and sometimes the games are so rough that I can't move. Like today, for example, I got clotheslined by this girl and landed on my back, and I got one girl elbowed me in the collarbone, and yeah, it was and I woke up aching all over. I pray for you that you can experience the church the way I've experienced it, in the most positive and spiritual, and with people that will treat you the right way. I I hope someday that we can meet, and I give you my word that I will not try and force anything on you. I will not try and convince you to come back, because it is entirely your decision. But if you ever need to talk to anybody, if you need to confide in anybody, if you need to vent, then respond to this video. Let me know what you think. I probably should have done this at the very beginning. I'm Charlie, by the way. I live in Perth in Western Australia. It's an isolated city that not many people are aware of. And I'm on the other side of the planet from you. Yeah, but my heart aches for what those people did, for what you had to experience growing up. I'll let you know. I'm gonna reach out to you again once I've watched parts 2 and 3. And I hope that I can talk to you properly one day and be someone that can be a light in your life that you need. I'm always open to making friends. I have a best friend that's not a member, and I've been friends with her for 13 years. Wait, no, 16 years. Don't ask me why I got that so wrong. And she has no intention of joining our church. She has no belief in God. She lives for herself and only herself. But she is my best friend. She's a kind girl. And if God has plans for her to find the truth, then that's in His time, and that's her journey. I never once tried to shove our gospel down her throat, ever, because that's just not how it's done. It is up to her. It's her agency, whether she wants to eventually join or not. And just like it was your decision to leave, no judgment on my part. Yeah, so I will let you know when I watch the other parts. So I look forward to hearing from you. So I'll see you later.